Hi, Steve here. I don't think most people understand what type of battle we're in for this country. And I'm talking about America. Right now, I'm not talking to international people, but just for Americans. I think a lot of people are asleep. And I think a lot of people don't have a clue. And I think a lot of people are going to be slapped into a reality they're not going to want. We're living in the world of either new populism or the New World Order. Globalism versus nationalism. And it could be the people in the middle who decide America's fate. I bet you didn't know that the Pentagon is preparing for the takedown of President Trump and the probable backlash of rioters in the streets. President Trump may soon be indicted and convicted by an Obama-appointed judge for misuse of campaign funds. The Senate will be bypassed in what will probably be an impeachment vote, but the real intent is to put the president in jail, and this will accomplish the same thing as an impeachment trial and a conviction. This is the way the left wants to bypass a Republican-controlled Senate that would probably never vote for an impeachment conviction anyway. Politically, the country could be divided into three major groups: liberals, conservatives, and the middle. Liberals are about 20% of the people in America. They want something for nothing. They expect the government to take care of them, or they're the young people and starting at the bottom, and that kind of rubs them the wrong way. They don't like that. They feel like they're entitled to share in the successes and profits of the very rich who've earned their way to where they're at. Liberalism is something that appeals to most 20-year-olds, but when these essentially lazy people reach 40 years old and they have a family to support, they finally realize they can't afford the phony ideals of liberalism. All of a sudden, they become more conservative because they see through the wealth redistribution strategies of the globalists who use liberalism to get the poor and the young to do their bidding of their communistic type of revolutions. Antifa, Black Lives Matter, MoveOn.org, the ACLU, the American Communist Party, and the Muslim Brotherhood are just a few of the groups that are dedicated to these goals. People who follow them resort to violence, Marxist tactics for change. But as history shows, useful idiots of the Marxist revolutions never reap the benefits of their activities. They're only pawns for the globalists who see power and wealth redistribution over the masses of people who actually work for a living. The rule of law is a foreign concept for these people. These are the ideas rooted in the Democratic Party. This is why we're living in a post-constitutional period of lawlessness. This explains why the president can be taken out of office based on the whim of Robert Mueller and his friends. Then we've got the conservatives. Mostly Christians, these people see the value in law and order and realize that the Ten Commandments form the basis of our legal code in the United States. These people claim to be practicing Christians to various degrees. Mostly they're educated and they're reaping the benefits of being educated and working hard, and they believe in the rule of law and the traditional conservative tenets of American society. Many of the political analysis state that about half of this group would actively defend the Constitution and the American way of life should it really be threatened. Going by these numbers, if Trump were to be illegally removed as president, about 15% of the country would take to the streets and absolute mayhem will break out. This group would be well armed and focused on carrying out a counter-coup against the deep state and their globalist masters. If the present set of Democrats ever gain control of the country, Schumer, Pelosi, Waters, Warren, Harris, Booker, Ocasio-Cortez, Obama, Clinton, we'd see total takeover of America by the most irrational and dictatorial lawlessness we've ever known. Because of their belief in Jesus and the Protestant work ethic these conservatives have, these people will be targeted for elimination should the liberals gain control of the power mechanisms in this country. Obama's mentor, Bill Ayers, the former head of the Weather Underground, he said that 50 million Americans would have to be sent to re-education camps and over half would have to be killed by their liberal masters. So it's not a stretch for conservatives to say that they're not only fighting for their culture and their faith, they're fighting for the right to survive. Extermination with extreme prejudice is a real possibility, and it could happen as soon as 2020. In other words, most of the people watching this video have been targeted for elimination. Why do you think that Google and the NSA are tracking every communication that you have? It's already been determined who's on the red-blue lists. And lastly, we have the middle. These people make up the majority of the American society. For the most part, they live in ignorant bliss. Some are part-time Christians, and they give the real Christians a bad name. Some are hopelessly hedonistic. Most just live their lives to get to Friday. They have no long-term goals. They have a few skills, and their talents are underdeveloped. They shape their lives according to the latest fads. They're brainwashed by media doublespeak. They buy into the self-indulgent debt mentality. They hate their jobs. These are the people that lead lives of quiet desperation. These people are the targets of CNN propaganda. When the Civil War comes, these people will be needed because they'll provide the muscle behind any revolution or counter-revolution because of their numbers. Snopes fact-checking service was created to keep these people and their belief systems in line. These middle people could decide the immediate future of the United States. The prime directive of every conservative is to win the hearts and minds of the middle. We need them if we're going to survive. What's the real reason President Trump is going to be taken out of office? The formal allegation, and it will be initiated from Loretta Lynch's old stomping grounds, the Eastern Division of New York. The president will be tried and convicted of misuse of campaign funds. And because he didn't disclose this supposed legal violation, they'll tack on obstruction as another charge. Keep in mind that Obama was guilty of the same allegation involving $2 million, but his presidency was never threatened. And Hillary Clinton? She spent her entire 4 years as Secretary of State collecting funds for her run for president. Her pay for play that went directly to the Clinton Foundation was transferred into campaign funds. This involved hundreds of millions of dollars. Let's not forget her significant profits from Uranium One, derived from the treasonous act of selling highly enriched uranium to the Russians. Trump allegedly spent $284,000 to silence 2 women that he allegedly had sexual encounters with. Even if it's true, compare that to Obama and Clinton. But remember, we live in post-constitutional era where the rule of law is gone from the American legal landscape. This action being taken by the Eastern Division is a stopgap measure to the intended assassination of Trump. Either way, he leaves office. Of course, there's the reason the Democrats and the media want the middle to believe, and then there's the real reason. President Trump represents nationalism and self-determination. The globalists demand complete capitulation, and your rights will consist of what the globalists say they are. This is the real reason that we're witnessing the takedown of the government and culture in the United States. And if you have a half a brain, you can see that. When Trump is taken out of office, there will be civil war, along with the biggest purge in world history. The middle will turn the balance of power. Do I personally think we should fight to save Trump? Without question. But we also need to be fighting to spread the word of the dangers that lie ahead. The winners of the coming civil war will likely be the side that convinces the middle that they are right, and the other side poses a grave threat. So if you want to start ensuring your future survival and preserving what's left of America, you better get to work convincing as many people as possible from the middle that their lives and the lives of their family members are at stake, and that the real possibility of genocide lies in the future of those that will not submit to global tyranny. It's already 5 minutes past midnight. You're fighting to turn back the clock. Think about it.